Presenting our national officials for this match. First referee, Mr. Fernando Velarde. Second referee, Mr. Angelo Pao. Let us welcome our starting lineup from our PGJC Navy Sea Lions. Let's begin with our team captain, who wears jersey number 16, Seaman Second Class Greg Dolor. At number 9, Louis Budadera. Wearing jersey number 11, Seaman Second Class Omar Liok. At number 15, Seaman Second Class Peter Kiel. At number 17, Seaman First Class Wilbert Sapida. At number 18, Seaman Second Class Oben de la Vega. Starting libero is number 13, Seaman Second Class Jack Kalingking. Head coach, Mr. George Pasqua. Calling on our navigators, Iloilo. Wearing jersey number 5, Kim Harold Dayandante. At number 7, JV Sumagaysay. Wearing jersey number 13, Edward Camposano. Number 14, Abdurasad Nursidik. Number 16, Dean Neil De Pedro. And at number 20, Arvin Christian Estomata. Starting libero is number 1, Rick Adao. Head coach, Mr. Rizalito, Coach Boyet Del Moro. This is match number 45, game 2 of the finals.
Let's take a look at the starters here for both the squads. Toto de la Vega, again, will be a marked man for the PGJC Navy Sea Lions, of course, and as well as Greg Dolor. Can never forget about him. Peter Kiel, also watch out for his slides and his running attacks. Will be interesting to see how they'll handle a very determined D Navigators Iloilo squad. Still, the big news there, no Francis Saura in the lineup, and we're going to try and figure out who will step up in this group in particular. Edward Camposano did the job last time around. Engay, who we featured earlier on, is not in the starting lineup. So let's see what they do here. Once again, thank you very much for joining us here on the Spiker Surf Open Conference. This is the battle for third. Game number 2, PGJC Navy Sea Lions with a 1-0 lead. I'm Paulo De Rosario alongside Ayel Estranero. Early on here, what are you looking for? D Navigators Iloilo in particular, considering that they do need to try and sweep this. Because that could actually lead to a bronze medal.
Right. I mean, for the Navigators, for Iloilo, they need to find a way to slow down the firepower of PGJC Navy. As you saw that sequence earlier in early activation there from the middle, that's what they need. They need a good floor defense. They need to get the rebounds to slow down the offense. Because offensively, you know, they're also a lethal team despite the fact that they don't have Francis Saura with them right now. As you saw that Camposano attacked, but defense are definitely going to be key for the Navigators.
Let's take a look at that again. Camposano going up high, scored the first point here for the D Navigators Iloilo. You take a look at his numbers last time around, 17 points to lead the way. I know we didn't feature him, but then that's almost expected. He needs people to support him as well. As Peter Kiel gets another point to go here for the PGJC Navy.
Early activation from the middle. I mean, Kiel, one of the offensive-minded middles here for PGJC Navy.
Yeah, you know, you take a look at the firepower that they have there. I mean, it's just a who's who of who can score.
Right. I mean, Budadera have that luxury of having so many weapons offensively. It's just a matter of him distributing the balls evenly for Navy.
And again, these are two squads who weren't able to make it to the gold medal rounds, but you know what? They were upset-minded. They were almost there, and you know, it was always going to be an uphill climb against the likes of Chris Cross and Signal, but they made us all wait with bated breath during the semifinals. As we take a look at this again.
And then these two teams with good history of matchups this conference. I mean, their preliminary round and their semis, they extended the match into 5 sets. So we're in for a long match here.
Well, let's see if that's going to be the case. And speaking of firepower, there was a bit of that from Toto De Pedro.
Offensively here, good exchanges, clean attacks coming from both teams, putting intensity early on in the set.
You know, that's exactly what we expected from these two. Just high-quality volleyball.
Right.
And, you know, it feels like having covered this league for so many years. And nalala ko dati, Blue Eagle Gym lang to eh. And right now, we're here with such quality teams, and the players have been getting better year in, year out.
I mean, the quality of volleyball you've been talking about has really elevated the past years.
I mean, from watching under 18s already in PNVF to seeing how the UAP has grown, the PVL, and of course this, the Spikers Turf, just feels like we're entering such a great age for domestic volleyball.
Right, I agree.
And great blocking, almost, but Estomata manages to score anyway.
Oh, Estomata did not play at all in their previous game. So a big opportunity for him here to step up.
You know, sometimes you just need the opportunity. Did not play at all, as you mentioned.
Right.
And, you know, once given the chance to make a difference, why not?
Right.
Here's Takeda. The setup. And that was a good block there by Sapida.
Well read there, Norsi Dick in the be quick attack. No, Sapida way ahead there, going for the block, no coverage for the Navigators.
Captain Greg Delore.
Greg Delore on the service line here for Navy. And the captain here of this little fleet.
The ever reliable captain.
And Estomata has offense on his mind. That time though, stopped. Great defense shown by these two so far. Great back and forth. And a swing and a miss. That goes out. But they will challenge this. They're saying that it's going to be a check ball. So early challenge here between these two. Again, the D Navigators Iloilo need a sweep here to be able to win a bronze. A net touch challenge there. Let's see if they have a point.
And not just that, the Navigators also need to pray that the Signal will finish off the finals later on in our second match for them to be able to really seal that third spot.
You know, it's interesting because if the D Navigators win here but not in straight sets, they'll be cheering for Crisscross.
Right.
But if they finish in straight sets, they will be cheering for Signal. And of course, the reason why is because of the quotient system that we do have here.
And again, if the Navigators would win this one, as we try to see the result of the challenge first.
No touch, at least from my untrained eye. And tama pala. Tama pala yung mata ko.
So, unsuccessful challenge on that one. But going back to what I was saying earlier, they need to win in straight sets and hope that Signal wins later on because then there won't be any game 3. But if Crisscross would win, there will be a game 3.
Well, that matchup in particular has been so exciting. They split their initial meetings before the medal round. And of course, we don't know what's going to happen later on. As Estomata is really justifying his selection in the starting lineup.
Estomata with some workload to start this set. I mean, we've been seeing, sets going to him, giving attempts, and he's been responding well.
Udadera tried to go at it by himself. De Pedro with the tap, kept alive by Takeda, and the push by Nursidik. A bit of a scramble here, and that time just didn't get the timing right.
A great hustle for the Navigators. You've seen them recover. They were scrambling in the floor defense. A lucky break for them after that attack error. I mentioned this earlier, both teams really have to be careful with those errors. They want to polish up their games here.
And the service says as Estomata is proving to be the most effective player early on here in this game.
Right. It could be the spark, the game changer here for the Navigators. They haven't won a game yet against PGJC Navy all throughout this conference.
Estomata. And there was little to stop De La Vega. Joven De La Vega, 17 points in the last game to lead the way for the PGJC Navy Sea Lions. He led the game alongside Edward Camposano on the other side.
De La Vega really has the power and the athleticism to dominate, especially in offense. The reason why Pudadera would always go to him when they need a conversion.
And Nursidek answers back with one of his own. It is back and forth, but we go to our first technical timeout with the D Navigators leading by 1. Don't go away.
Back at the Rizal Memorial Coliseum for your Spikers Surf 2024 and losing to Navy in 5, 5, and 4 sets in 3 matches. You know, it's really in the end game situations when Iloilo loses their composure. And like I mentioned in the last outing, it was the 4th set that they really couldn't finish. Naubusan daw talaga sila. It's really just the simple errors though. For instance, sa break ball, pag block, net. Pag outside ang ball ni Navy, sabit sa net. So these little things, they are good with their defense, so it's really just dealing with the errors. But the big thing is still, like you mentioned, no Francis Saura as he is still nursing a knee injury. But Renz Engay doing good with 14 points in the last outing. Pao Ayel.
Thank you very much for that, Mika. And of course, just to harp on what she just said, it's really not about how you start, but how you finish sometimes.
Right.
And that finishing touch has been lacking for the Navigators. At inamin nila.
And they have their last chance today. This could be their last chance to prove that they have improved on that area, that they can end strong.
Adao is not able to save that one, and all of a sudden a 2-point lead for Navy. And the coaching staff looks around for the D Navigators as they try to shift things around. We talked about Engay. He's coming in alongside Apolinario.
Early double sub here for the Navigators. Some changes needed on their side.
And just a 2-point lead here for the PGJC Navy, but you know, a 2-point lead in this tight of a contest already feels big.
Right.
Camposano with the heavy hit.
I mean, a lot of clean attacks really coming from both of those teams. They have faced each other twice already. I mean, thrice already after that the game 1. So they know the tendencies. They know what each other are capable of. It's just a matter of execution for them.
Well, Pudadera with another nice setup, and that was teed up perfectly for Joven De La Vega.
Pudadera finished as the best setter in the conference after the preliminary round. He was a #1 setter. The reason why he has been playing smoothly here.
Smooth sailing for him, as it is PGJC Navy who sends it across. As Camposano stuffed. Again, the defense here of the PGJC Navy, especially at the net, has shown potential here. Some glimpses of that.
Exactly.
And we're seeing it here.
I mean, Camposano locked down in that one. No spaces, no rooms to get that point. And for the Navigators, because our Navy is having a good blocking day so far, they need to make sure they have that coverage. They need to cover. They need to lock in their floor defense.
Omar Liok with the serve there. De Pedro managed to save that there. Barely. Diandante sent that across. And the Navigators still staying alive. Had to adjust for that one. And the Navy pushed that across here. De Pedro overcooked it.
I mean, the Pedro had the right intention to go to zone 1 while the floor defense was scrambling, just too wide for him.
Well, after the technical timeout, it is one-way traffic. Let's listen in.
Isa. Tubig, sino mo tubig? Pasa tayo pa. Apat lang.
Well, that was a huddle of few words, but sometimes you just need to settle things down.
It was just really a chance for the Navigators to regroup, to have a restart here. Let's see how they will respond, because Navy looking to keep their momentum here.
And that one just sneaks in. That'll be a service ace.
Oh, the Pedro and Estomata there, letting that go. But have to credit Liok with that serve right in between two players. Confusion for the Navigators.
Well, you know, just to clarify just how much production they're missing from Francis Saura. He was the #1 scorer in the entire conference. He had around 166 points by himself. Coming in second was from Chris Crossy, Jude Garcia, 152. That's how big the gap was and how great he was this conference.
Right, and the Navigators have heavily relied on him, especially when they need a quick side out. But someone needs to be that player, as De La Vega is that go-to player for PGJC Navy. Someone really has to step up here for the Navigators as De La Vega gets that clean attack in.
He's been that guy here. Talking about De La Vega, as Navy are looking to send us to a second technical timeout. And that time, Magaysay says, not yet.
I know potentially that we've been talking about a go-to player. It potentially it could be Sumagaysay, but again, they need good passing. They need good first ball for Dayandante to be able to activate Sumagaysay.
And Sumagaysay had 11 points in the last game. Again, we all know his talent and skill level. We know that he can produce even more than that. And that was a good hit. All of a sudden, a little 2-0 run here for the Navigators.
High hands there for the Pedro, attacking on top of the blockers. And this is good for the Navigators. If they can't have one go-to player, collective effort will definitely help them here.
Here's Sumagaysay. And just getting the angle a bit wrong there. That goes wide. And all of a sudden, it's a timeout because it is a 3-0 sprint here from the Navigators Iloilo. Navy call for time. Let's listen in.
Ito lang yung space na pwede mong i-down. Pag tinis po yung katawan mo, outside na yan. I-cross mo, di bali nang mag-block. Late naman yung blocker ng kalaban eh. Ito natindihan. So gamit. Tato yung spiker may maximize. Ang depensa, hindi nakabuka kang ganun. Forward mo, nakita mo na yung bola, di ba? Saka huwag kayong nakatayo. Kailangan natin dumipesa kasi lahat ng dumipesa natin, na-convert natin ng point. Bakit titigil tayo? Doon sa area na yun, na doon tayo pumupuntos. Di ba? Tsaka yung sa depensa.
Defense there is needed for PGJC Navy, but I saw that the replay, Dolor, too much angle in that attack. I mean, iniwasan niya yung blocker. So you see Francis Saura on your screens.
Would rather be playing, I'm sure, 100%. Nahiya siya kasi he's right behind us eh. And that was a great hit from Sapida, and that means we are going into our second technical timeout. Great timeout there from Coach George Pascual. We'll be right back. Don't go away. awesome live sports viewing is guaranteed with Signal. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Switch now and get up to 3 months with no cash out. Visit www.signal.tv/switch for more details. As you can see, the crowd is slowly trickling in here to Zam Memorial Coliseum as Nursidik scores once again for the Navigators Iloilo.
A great effort so far we're seeing from the Navigators.
Substitution, Navy.
And you know, the Navigators, they've shown us that they have the ability to match the firepower of the PGJC Navy Sea Lions. That was going to be one of our bigger questions.
Right.
The question is, can they sustain it now?
And that's something that they need to work hard for, as PGJC Navy has their core.
Jairami with the setup, and Dolor almost scores, kept alive here. Estomata, who was red hot and started the first frame, cooled down a bit. And the coverage, kept alive by hook or by crook. And here we go still. And the block from the end by Estomata.
Estomata really has been almost flawless in this game so far from all skill sets. An ace earlier, an attack this time, a solid block. Take a look at this replay. Perfect timing, perfect pressing of the hands in.
Estomata has shined here when he didn't even get a sniff in the last game.
Right.
Jairami managed to keep that alive, and they still managed to score. Dungsi Sapida said that, okay, we'll take it.
That was almost an overpass, but Jairami there. Great show of patience and the control of momentum.
Di lang naabot for the Navigators. Sorry, the Navigators. 2-point lead here for PGJC Navy. The swing, good serve. Estomata again. Great coverage, better coverage rather, and that time scoring off the block.
And this is what we talked about earlier. They need to have that coverage because they give themselves an opportunity to convert the point, and that's what happened in that sequence.
I feel our coaching staff is listening to you, Ayel. Sabi kasi ni Ayel, kailangan ito.
It's a game of adjustments, and we've seen the Navigators starting to adjust right now, digging everything here.
Camposano trying to tie this one up. Great defense being shown here by the Navigators, but then that time, passing play let them down a bit. And we're still going here, and that one long, and we're tied at 17 all.
We're tied at 17.
The Navigators showing good patience here, and their floor defense has been working well for them.
Cobb checks in. Pudadera will come back in as well as De La Vega. So again, some of the arguably bigger cannons for PGJC Navy checks back in. As Estomata has had a game here today so far.
Showing good confidence in this game. Again, he can be that spark that they need.
Pudadera with the setup. And that was an inspired substitution there, with Jacob scoring in his first swing.
And this is, you know, the advantage that the PGJC Navy rather has. They have, you know, a deep bench. Anyone put in, able to contribute instantly.
Here's Camposano. And that time hit the antenna.
Camposano saw that open space in the down the line angle. Unfortunately, it hit the antenna.
And, you know, all of a sudden, it's a 2-point lead again from Navy. It feels like it's a game of runs here.
Right.
A while ago, it was the run of the D Navigators to tie it all up at 17 all, and all of a sudden, it's a 2-0 sprint.
And so the key here for both teams is staying consistent.
And that one will go out. Camposano apologizing. And all of a sudden, they call for time. Let's listen in this time.
Kapito niya, malayo po yan. Isa-isa. Sa akin guys, sa akin yan, sa akin lang, sa akin lang.
balitaan namin. Patay ko.
Meron naman eh, may receipt naman.
Pasa na tayo eh, may pasa.
May receipt naman.
Sa kanyan guys, sa kanyan.
Gulang. Tuloy tayo ha, ganun pa rin.
Kapit lang, kapit.
Ready.
Magkakapatay tayo, dalawa lang sila.
Kota serve.
Hey, Navi! Let's go!
Well, they all are in agreement that the receiving isn't the problem. It really is the passing so far.
And again, you know, the errors coming in at this time can be really costly for them. They're trying to close this gap while Navy is trying to make this lead even bigger. So a quick side out here, that's what they need, talking about the Navigators.
Wilbert Sapida. Here's Camposano, and that time got the angle right. Yeah, you feel that he saw him a while ago, just apologizing to his teammates for his mistake, and this time it felt like a little bit of redemption.
A good way there to make up for the attacker earlier, and great response after the timeout.
For the Navigators.
Nur Siddiq. Jacob still manages to score, and just like that, doubles his tally from the last game. He only scored one last time, now he has two.
And a great way to outsmart the floor and net defense on that one. Now fooling the defense of the Navigators, switching power last second, going for the dip right on the middle.
21-18 is the count so far as Camposano. He is enjoying that spot.
Right. He has been the go-to player for the Navigators, delivering much-needed points here for them. And they want to keep this rotation with the Andante on the back row. 3 spikers right now.
For the Navigators.
Pudadera with the setup. And great blocking. The net defense coming up here for the Navigators.
Big block there for De Pedro. I mean, you know, it's not easy to block De La Vega, but the one-man block there, a kill block for De Pedro. Great timing.
You know, it's about scoring the right moments as well. And right now, 21-20, the momentum still the D Navigators, even though the lead is on the other side. And that time, the lead has disappeared, and all of a sudden we're not up at 21 all. Ayala Estraniero, who's known for very long games of volleyball every time she commentates, might be in for one now. A challenge here, let's see if they have a point. Block touch is what they are looking at here.
I mean, again, these two teams, they've played extended matches this conference. 2 5-setters, a 1 4-setter. So we're not going to be surprised if we're going to be here for a bit.
But it's played at a great pace. The scoring has been good, free-flowing. The game has been fast as well. It really is entertaining.
Yeah, a lot of good exchanges. You see how both teams try to, you know, outpower, outsmart each other offensively, but you know, you also see great digs, great defense as we see this challenge. That was a way out, way up there, no block touch. I mean, it could have been used just for Navy, right? For Navy to, you know, regroup, restart.
Yeah, it's like an artificial timeout.
Because again, the Navigators has closed the gap. We have a deadlock here right now.
Can the D Navigators steal the lead here? The single block almost works out. Meeting at the net, Sumagaysay pointing something out there. And that time they score off the blockers. And immediately going straight to our officials.
Well, they were saying that Putadera committed an overreaching violation there because he is in the back row.
And our officials are having conversation with each other. And we had a bit of it here just a while ago. So the point will go to D Navigators. They're saying it's an illegal block.
Illegal block. Because...
illegal block. Nandito na yung bola. Inapol na nga. Nauna to eh. Nauna navigator. So dito tayo. Oh, hindi. Dito. Nakita nila. Sige.
Well, there's the explanation, the correction, and all of a sudden, the Navigators are sitting pretty here with a slight advantage. A precarious 1-point lead here, 22-21.
We talked about the timing of the errors here, but yellow card not given
Illegal block called on
to
to the Dera of the
Magaysay.
Navy. And misconduct warning.
Well, of course, that was because of his extreme reaction right after.
Right after.
Well, maybe not extreme, but emotional reaction.
Right. Again, it was a crucial point.
Inday and
They're
Dante.
trying to
Serving
catch up
Iloilo.
here, but they have the lead right now. Talking about the Navigators.
Pudadera lifts that up. And remember, if the Navigators sweep this matchup, they actually have a chance to end up with the win. They're going to check this with a challenge, I believe.
Ball is in.
The whistle was
and we're
blown.
tied at 22.
Or not.
No, point goes to Navy. A violation called there on the Andante.
So 22 all here. As the officials are sorting everything out, having conversations amongst themselves. As we see Jacob already on the service line here. Great contribution here so far,
Right.
coming as a substitute. It's been a nice little spark plug for his side. Siyempre, sinabi ko yun. Nag-service error.
Goes long and
Again, the
Navigators
timing of the
now on
errors
top
of Navy
by one.
has been crucial and can be costly if the Navigators gets to finish this set
Edward Camposano
first.
for the serve.
Again, the Navigators are looking for a sweep, and they have to do it one set at a time. Pudadera with the setup. Great coverage so far from the Navigators. Estomata! Well, where has he been? Because he's been shining here today.
Estomata again and again. You have to mention his efforts and the hustle in both in offense and defense.
Time on the floor. Let's listen in the Navy.
Sabay pa habol ninyo. Sabay ngayon ayaw niyong humabol. O, pinapractice natin yung ganyan score. Isang side out lang yan at saka puntos lang yan. At hindi yan. Kayo na mismo eh. Call nyo na yan. Nandiyan na kayo sa court. Sayang. Let's go. Laban ba? Laban. Di ba tapos yan? Navy!
Well, you can sense the frustration there in the Navy huddle. But interesting to note that they do practice this type of situations, so mentally they're ready for this.
And again, the frustration is very valid because of how Navy started strong and the Navigators had to pull off some runs to be able to close the gap. And right now, they're just a 1 point away in taking the set.
Pudadera with the setup. And that is more like it for the Navy.
Vega finds
That's
the
what
corner.
Coach George has been asking for. Aggressiveness in offense and playing more cohesively because they were able to execute that early on the set. But De La Vega there with a clean attack.
Gel with the serve. And they
Sumagaysay.
end it though. Sumagaysay
Ends the set.
answers the call to send us to our second frame. 25-23 is the score after the first. Great start from Navy. The Navigators had to come up with a few runs of their own, but they end up drawing first blood here in this battle for third. Don't go away. We'll be right back with a lot more.
214, Panis. Everything may lie, children should cry.
She wears short skirts, I wear t-shirts. She's cheer captain and I'm on the bleachers.
Hindi ko alam yung title pero alam ko yung kanta. You belong with me. Tama ako.
Ladies and gentlemen, Spike the Mic, that time with John Michael Apolinario. It reminds us that they really should be volleyball players. And of course, we say Spike the Mic because we want to spike the mic away from them. Of course, all joking aside. Set number 1 highlights here. Again, a game of runs here between these two. Navy actually started off a stronger team.
But again, no lead is safe here at this point of the match. Everyone trying their best. For Navy, they want to win this game to get the bronze medal, but Iloilo Navigators, they want to win in 3 sets to still have the chance. And they were able to prove that they're here to hustle to get the win today. Talking about the Navigators, both teams here, as you see the numbers with the same attack points, 14 for both teams, same block points as well, 2 for both teams. PGJC Navy with a 1 more service ace, but PGJC Navy as well committing more errors with 8 against the 5 of the Navigators. And you know, that was really where the separation happened. And it's not just the number of errors, it was the timing of the errors of PGJC Navy that was really costly for them. That cost them the first set, actually.
Well, it's a +3 advantage in terms of opponent error points for the Navigators Iloilo, and considering that they won by 2, it just goes to show you how tight this matchup is and how clean your game has to be. Set number 2 coming right up. PGJC Navy Sea Lions on the right side of the screens. The Navigators Iloilo on the left. And here we go with the Navigators with a great swing to start things out. But here's Dolor. Tayandante with the setup again. Had to adjust. Here's Liok. That time scoring off the block.
Liok taking advantage of that loose block of Sumagaysay. Now, we keep talking about the firepower of the Sea Lions, and this is really their biggest advantage here. But the Navigators responding so well with their good defense.
Yes, that time it is the Navigators to strike back to even things all out.
A simple play there, a tip right behind the blockers. Work for the Navigators. Camposano there outsmarting the floor defense.
All knotted up now. And here's De La Vega. That time stopped by the triple block.
That was well read. I mean, Pudadera, when they need a point, he goes to De La Vega, and this time, the Navigators anticipated that well. And you know what? The Pedro has been checking, has been closing down De La Vega in this game so far.
And there it is, a single block working out, and all of a sudden, the Navigators' net defense has been on point.
And this is what we talked about, you know, earlier in the first set. Ano yung kailangan gawin ng the Navigators? They need good defense, and right now, they're able to execute the defense that they need against the firepower of PGJC Navy.
Well, trying to let their offense break like water on rock, but that time, a service error sends a bit of the momentum back the other way.
Chance here for PGJC Navy to gain some momentum.
Well, right now, no team has gone on a lengthy run in this game. It's always been an exchange of maybe 3 or 4 points at the most. That time, trying to hit it down the line, but goes too wide.
Now, Camposano trying to go down, trying to avoid the blockers on that one. Too wide for him. Too much adjustment on that angle.
All of a sudden, we're not up at 3 apiece. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a matchup wherein anyone's going to be letting go here.
Right.
Especially with the D Navigators with an ambitious goal of actually sweeping this one. And that's a service ace straight away for the PGJC Navy.
And again, for the Navigators, this isn't just, you know, a matter of winning it. Points, sets will be important for them, but it's not going to be easy as Navy will continue to make their job difficult.
For the Navigator, the bare minimum is sweep. Dante with the had to readjust some Magaysay. Kiel pushed that across. Who did they go to here? Here's De Pedro. And that time, the coverage is good. And our floor director, Jet, was afraid that he'd be hit by the ball. It was saved. And that one goes long.
Everything going well right now for the Navigators. I mean, they are able to convert points here off their good digs.
Service. Number 14, Edward Camposano.
Here's Camposano on the service line. Dolor, that time hit below the tape.
The Navigators has been highly disciplined in their net defense. Take a look at the three blockers jumping at the right time, really trying to slow down, to close down, to silence the offense of a Navy, and it has been working for them.
Again, 6 points already here for Camposano. And you can bet that he has a lot more in his locker as well. Great defensive coverage. As they send it the other way, a little bit of help from the net. And that time the swing is wide. Was there a touch though? There was not. The point will go to the D Navigators. And they're going to check for a net touch here. There's going to be a challenge for that at the very least. So we'll see whether or not they have a point.
Early challenge here for Navy.
And we already seen the Navy use the challenges not only as a means of winning the points, but actually to stop momentum like an official timeout.
They have been having a difficult time, getting points because the Navigators has been defending so well. They need to find ways to break the defense of the Navigators.
Let's take a look at that here. This net touch, if there is any. And ooh, close but no cigar. At least from my untrained eye. And there it is. And the second unsuccessful challenge, if I'm not mistaken, here for the PGJC Navy Sea Lions.
Very early challenge there for Navy. That's how important every point is for them.
Here's Edward Camposano. Kiel, he was stopped by Sumagaysay.
Everything that Navy is hitting right now, the Navigators has been defending as Sumagaysay gets a solid one against Kiel.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about how offensively these two teams are doing so well in the first frame, but here in the second, it's all about the D Navigators net D.
The discipline really, and the dedication, the commitment, and every movement on the court right now. They're showing how bad they want this one.
And it looks like the flag was raised. We're going to see what the...
Oh, we're having a referee's challenge here off that De La Vega attack.
Yeah, so we'll have that sorted out in just a bit. But then again, the theme here early on in the second frame has been the net D here of the D Navigators. And all of a sudden, PGJC Navy, for all of their offensive prowess, are having a hard time adjusting to the net defense.
I mean, Budadera has done a good job giving the attackers only one blocker with loose blocks on the side of the Navigators. But it's really the offense, the decision of the attackers right now of a Navy that has been slowing them down here.
And of course, for the D Navigators, the question is how long they could sustain that. Of course, the momentum is with them. They are frustrating the PGJC Navy. They're just going to be hoping that if and when the Navy do score, it won't come in like a dam breaking in terms of the points.
And this is important for the Navigators, even though this is just a 3-point lead. This is good for them to have that bit of a cushion against a Navy. who we saw earlier in the first set, are capable of making runs here.
Well, let's see, as this lengthy break here might actually stop the momentum, any momentum built by the Navigators, and allow PGJC Navy to reset.
A replay is requested.
No, they will
point
have to replay
awarded.
the point.
All right, so that's going to be the case here, as we are going to replay the point.
Score remaining,
Still a 3-point lead here for the Navigators, 1 point away from sending us into our first technical timeout of the second frame.
Serving for the Navigators.
Now let's see if that cooled them off, talking about the Navigators. And this will be a chance ball to play with here. Diane Dante with the setup. Who did they go to?
Estomata on the hit out.
Estomata really has been highly reliable and efficient in this match so far.
And he has been one of the key pieces as we go to our first technical timeout in set number 2. Don't go away.
You're still watching the Spikers Surf 2024, and despite winning against Iloilo in the eliminations, the semis at the first round of the bronze, there's still a lot of things to fix para dito sa Navy as they can't seem to get it in 3 sets. Sabi daw ni Coach George Pascua, pag nalulunod na yung kalaban, wag nyo na iahon. They still had a lot of service errors, hitting errors, these things not needed for the great floor defense of DNAV. This is without Francis Saura. This part frustrating for the Navy veterans, Dolor and De La Vega. Sabi nila, dapat talaga 3 sets lang yung last match, but it's really a collective effort from Iloilo, as we can see. Pao Ayal.
Thank you so much for that, Mika. As the net defense has kept the PGJC Navy underwater here, you know, just to use a reference a while ago. But you gotta give it to the D Navigators who are lacking in personnel, and arguably their most potent offensive personnel. And here they are up by 5.
And, you know, without Francis Saura, there's that, you know, intention, that mindset of the rest of the Navigators to really push harder because they know that they need the collective effort to succeed in this match. But unfortunately there, a net touch error for the Endante was not able to control his momentum on that one. So a chance here for Navy to gain a bit of momentum as you saw that one. The Endante went straight to the other court.
I couldn't stop his own momentum as Kiel has the serve there. Dante with the setup. Pedro just pushes that across. And they reset their defense. Here's Greg Delor trying to pierce it, and he does.
More aggressive attack there coming from Delor. This is what they need. They have the firepower. They just need to keep the intensity, as their body language earlier kind of changed. You saw them starting to doubt, starting to hesitate, talking about Navy. So they need their confidence back here.
Well, they were slowly getting it. It was seen off screen just a bit, and that time maybe a bit of a downer again. The block goes out, and D Navigators take another one.
Estomata really has been a big problem here for PGJC Navy, and you know, this could be the advantage of Estomata as well. Did not play in their previous game, did not, you know, see a lot of action in their matches against Navy. So Navy really not familiar of how Estomata could play, or his style of play rather.
Here's Dolor. Dolor with the swing, and Nursidik lost it in the light.
Right. But who else will rally his team? But their captain here, Delor, putting in some points, delivering consecutive points here for Navy.
10-7 is the count here as Navy are trying to mount a little comeback. But that time sent straight to the net. Again, sometimes the timing of the errors, it just really is a gut punch.
Right, it's a story of Navy and that first set, costly errors and the end stretch. But right now, you know, they can't afford to commit errors here. They're trying to close this gap.
There's Dolor again. Oh, they managed to save that. Norsidic. Estomata again. Can he score this? Yes, he can. Went too far out for Liok to chase.
Estomata. The surprise adjustment in this game did not play at all in the previous game. In game 1, started in this game and has been delivering big points for the Navigators.
And a timeout on the floor. Let's listen in.
Kasi ang nangyayari, wala na yung system natin sa likod. Ay sa ginagawa natin. Wala na yung game plan natin. Basta kayo open lang. Open lang ginagawa ninyo. Naninigurado kayo. Ayaw yung gumambol. Ayaw yung mag-try. I-try ninyo yung game plan natin, yung sequence ng play natin, gawin ninyo. Ngayon, kung magkakanya-kanya kayo, walang mangyayari sa atin. Huwag kayong maglalaro nang hindi nyo ginagawa sa training.
There's a bit of frustration there because according to them, they are not playing to system here.
Coach George wants to see his system. He wants to see what they have practiced for the past days. Because whatever they're doing right now, talking about Navy, it hasn't been working for them because the Navigators has been dominating, controlling the set so far.
And that time, getting past the initial net D, it will be a free ball for PGJC Navy to play with. And that is going to be an obvious net touch.
Right. Norsidic hitting the net there, scraping the net. Lucky break for Navy. Take a look at this replay. There you go.
The elbow caught everything. No need to challenge for that. As we have the PGJC Navy Sea Lions trying to come up with a little rally of their own. Diane Dante with the setup. That was quick. There's Estomata who sent it the other way.
Ooh.
And good opportunity there. Missed out by Sapida. Estomata off the block.
Estomata again and again and again and again. I mean, we have been mentioning him because he has been crucial here in their campaign in this game. Talked about go-to players. We talked about sparks. It could be, you know, Estomata here for the Navigators because again, we're expecting Camposano to step up, you know, Norsidic to put in points, Sumagaysay to deliver points, but we haven't seen Estomata for a while.
Again, did not even play in their first game.
Right.
So here he is, justifying his selection. Diane Dante. They go to the other side, and it is all the Navigators here in set number 2.
Execution has been flawless for the Navigators as Camposano has been maximizing that weak spot right behind the blockers. Zone 2, big problem for PGJC Navy.
See Coach George there, a bit frustrated, and that, you know, Estomata couldn't be perfect, and he sends that long and wide.
Trying to serve long that time, but too strong for him. So a chance here for PGJC Navy to make a run.
Well, the Navy have had their struggles this frame in particular. Diane Dante with the setup there. He'll try again. That time, just giving it across. Liok had that. And that time, that's a good finish there from Villanueva.
Diane Dante apologizing. That was a misjudgment for him. He gave away a free ball for Navy and they maximized that one. They took advantage of that one.
Yeah, that's how they did it. And again, it's too easy for the Navy to set that up. Diane Dante with the setup perfect there, coming for Norsidic.
have to credit Adao as well. He has been flawless, steady on the floor defense, delivering perfect first balls. The reason why they're able to activate the middles. And you know, the Navigators, they're not even going for power attacks here. The tips, the slow touches has been working for them.
There's a variety there coming in from the Navigators, and Navy have struggled with that adjustment. And that time, net violation, I believe, against the PGJC Navy Sea Lions. And that means we are going to go into our second technical timeout here with the Navigators leading by 6. Welcome back. You're watching Spiker Stir of Season 7 Open Conference Battle for Third. Arena Plus, Astig sa Sports. PGJC Navy Sea Lions looking for answers here against the Navigators, who have had their way throughout this second frame, courtesy of their good net defense, good coverage, and really variety of attacks.
Right, I agree. The Navy having a difficult time to convert, and with that good defense. Talking about the Navigators, they have been forcing Navy to commit some errors here. I mean, 7-point lead. This is big for the Navigators.
You know, this 7-point lead that honestly is a bit surprising when you consider just how close set number 1 was. A quick refresher at 25-23 in favor of the Navigators, but PGJC Navy looks so good at the start.
Right, but right now they can't seem to recover. But good break here for them. Liok getting that point off the hands of the Navigators.
But even that point looks so close.
Now you see the Navigators getting points easily. Meanwhile, Navy has to work hard for every point here. You see them struggle a bit, but they need to recover quickly, as we see De La Vega and Podadera in again.
Speaking of Podadera, on the service line here for PGJC Navy, trying to mount a little comeback here. It's not too late for sure. Diandante tries to do it by himself. Bodies on the floor. Chance ball here for D Navigators. Diandante with the setup goes to the other side. Camposano, the slow hit.
I mean, Camposano, that was probably the third time, the fourth time that he went for that variety of attack. A soft touch, as you see the hustle here on the side of Navy. But they need to recognize that Camposano has been maximizing that weak spot. Someone has to defend that spot for Navy, because again, Camposano just getting points out of that weak floor defense.
He is just having a field day, just reading the defense and the coverages. And that time, a service error, hopefully for them. Diandante, that won't come and bite them back.
So far, in terms of service errors, 1 for Navy and 3 for the Navigators.
Again, the D Navigators, even with the service errors, still playing really well here. Here's Diandante. And able to save that. What an effort. And that'll be a chance ball. And the entire D Navigators bench says that was out. And the point will go to PGJC Navy.
Again, a lucky break for Navy there. But you know, when in doubt, you get it. Down really made a good decision to go for that one. Unfortunately, you know, that was way too close to the net. But decision-making wise, Adao did a great job there.
Well, sometimes you gotta be a bit lucky, and that definitely was luck on their side. PGJC Navy trying to save this still. Great effort there on the defensive end. They try to look for Greg Delor, who will send it free the other way. Diandante with the setup and a little fake. The blocking works, but the coverage is there. On the back row, the swing and the miss. Estomata goes wide left. They will challenge this, I believe. So they will challenge a net touch.
Now they were saying that the net moved during that sequence, but whether it was the ball or someone in Navy, we don't really know.
Well, we're gonna find out, and we're gonna change it from a maybe to a Navy point, possibly. Of course, the Navigators playing very well here in set number 2 has been one of the biggest difference makers here. Talking about Estomata,
right,
as well as Camposano. They have been performing particularly well here in set number 2.
Again, the Navigators is doing all this without their leading scorer, Francis Saura. But you see the teamwork, the effort from all of the players on the court for the Navigators, and that's the reason why they have been controlling the set so far.
Let's take a look at that again, see if there is a net touch, and don't think so. So that will mean the Navy get a bit of a break themselves.
Much needed point here for Navy.
And it is still a 4-point advantage here for the Navigators. 18-14 the count. But the Navy will try and get it as close as possible before the Navigators even hit the 20-point mark. Here's Omar Leo, 6 points, 4 attacks to go with that. Diandante with the setup to De Pedro, trying to score off the blockers. Blocking did its job, slowed it down, and here we go the other way. Here's Diandante with the setup again. They go to the back row, and that time Estomata does it right.
Estomata, I mean, offensively he has been so good, finding the right angles, attacking the right zone. Another clean attack from Estomata.
19-14, Camposano on the service line there. 8 points, 7 attacks, and a single block. At that time, there was nothing stopping the Navy.
A good combination play there. De La Vega with only 1 blocker, avoiding Estomata on that one. Again, we know how lethal De La Vega can be. You just need to put him in a comfortable position.
Yeah, if he gets any sort of momentum, that's going to spell trouble here for the Navigators.
Right. The quick side out, really, the quick transition plays, the quick answers from the Navigators, has been their biggest asset here in this set.
Everything flowing their way here so far. Take a look at that again. Boy, if they carry momentum going to a set number 3, a sweep could be on the cards and a potential bronze medal at the end of the day. But that time, it is the PGJC Navy Sea Lions who strike back. De La Vega, as we mentioned, if he gets a bit of momentum, might be someone to hold them back.
That was the 9th point of De La Vega there.
So it's been a little matchup here between De La Vega and Estomata. You have the numbers there with you. As you take a look at the attack points here, 11 for the Navigators. Make that 12.
Estomata.
Oh my goodness.
Through the block.
11 now for Estomata. De La Vega with 9, and Estomata's been doing it with a variety of ways. He has an ace, a block, and 9 attack points.
And we already talked about the attackers, the offensive weapons of the Navigators, but we have to mention the playmaking of Diandante. He has been smooth so far, orchestrating the offense. The reason why we see these attackers shine.
Polinario and Engay comes in. We featured Engay in our pre-game. Let's see if he can make some noise here today.
Serving for the Navigators.
Dolor off the block.
Off the hand of Norsidic.
And PGJC Navy can be dangerous when they are in system because, again, they have, the weapons that can dominate offensively. As Delor gets the point
Greg Delor, team
of the hands of Norsidic.
Serving for PGJC Navy.
Here's Apolinario. And that's a good swing again.
Engay
And that
scores
one
his
coming
first point.
from the Navigators. Engay.
The instant impact here for Apolinario and Engay. Clean attack for Engay there.
Yeah, he had 14 points last time around. He was the extra contributor. And right now, it is the Navy trying to mount a bit of a comeback here. And they trim the lead down to 4. As we take a look at Miss Don Makandili Katindig joining us here today, supporting the Signal HC Spikers later on.
With her husband there.
My fellow Zobeloids. Who I'm sure, by the way, that term has not been approved by anyone from Zobel. And that time it is Engay who's saying, guys, don't forget about me. He had a fantastic first game.
Right.
He's trying to have a fantastic second game too.
You know, the Navigators just having a beautiful game so far. You mentioned earlier, they have good flow, they are on rhythm, they look synchronized from offense to defense.
Sea Lions score.
Everything's been working out for them so far. Navy Sioux for time. Let's listen in.
The Navigators.
Dapat yung isipin. Isipin nyo paano natin tatalunin yung kalaban. Ngayon, kung inisip natin yung mga mali natin, hindi tayo makakapag-move forward. Pabayaan yung error ninyo. Importante, yung composure nyo is nandun pa rin sa laban. Forget about kung anong mga inisip ninyo. Pabayaan yung error ninyo. Sige, paluin nyo kung paluin nyo. 1-1 na yan. Huwag na kayo magpipigil, huwag na kayo mag-iingat. The more na nag-iingat kayo, the more na magkakamali kayo. Kailangan mas mataas ang volleyball like yan. Mas aggressive tayo sa depensa. Sa floor, nawawala yung floor defense natin. Nawawala yung sa taas, nawawala yung floor defense natin. Yun ang pinaraks natin kahapon. Okay, let's go.
There's so many ways that we can define what the message was there, but I believe we can boil it down to overthinking.
Right. And it just goes to show how this has been a mental game for Navy. They need to recover quickly. They need to compose themselves back because the Navigator is looking to get a sweep here.
Here's Liok. The swing, triple block, slows that down. And the setup to Engay, not that time. They go to the other side. And we're still going here. You can see the intensity has just ramped up. Kiel, the soft touch. Apolinario with the coverage. They go to Engay again. Not that time. Kiel had a lot of mustard on that one. Maybe too much relish, a bit of chili as well, but it was just too much.
And you know, Coach George Pasqua saying that his players need to be more aggressive on the defense. They were able to execute that one. You see them hustle on the floor defense, but again, they need to convert points here. That's what they need. They need to deliver points.
Here for the set, PGJC Navy trying to extend this further, maybe build a little momentum.
Yeah.
They're doing that here with Kiel.
24. I'm out.
So the Navigators call for time here. Chance to listen in.
Bilog tayo, bilog.
Hey, yung pasa, doon. Receive 2. Receive 2 ah. Be quick. Pogi. Okay, okay. Ito, para di matasa.
Basahan nyo na ito, patayin ni Renz yan.
Let's go! Hey, Navis!
The Navigators are 1 point away from plotting a course to a 2-0 lead here in terms of sets 1 against the PGJC Navy Sea Lions, and they'll be 1 frame away of potentially securing a bronze medal. As we take a look at the crowd here already starting to grow at the Rizal Memorial Coliseum. Again, there is still time for you to come on over and join us here for the second game in particular, and maybe if this extends further. And if you hurry up, you can catch Ayel Estranero, my partner, because we all know that's who you're here to see.
Wow.
King saves that. It goes straight to the net, gets a bit of help from the tape. And Greg Dolor is encouraging his teammates. We're not done yet.
Navy with some intensity here. Hoping for a comeback, but they need to do it flawlessly.
And they will not go down without a fight. Apolinario with the setup. Good coverage there. Who do they look for here? A bit of a push needed. And Liok tried to brush that off the blockers, but that will go the way of the Navigators who take the win here, it looks like. But they're going to check. There's a block touch here. So hold on to the celebration because we're going to check first if this block touch has actually happened. So, once again, thank you very much for joining us on Pilipinas Live and on One Sports and One Sports Plus for our continuing coverage of the Spiker Surf Season 7 Open Conference. This is the battle for third. Ako po si Paul de Rosario, joined by Ayala Estraniero, and it is Mika Abesames joining us on the sidelines here. And of course, advanced happy birthday to our Mika Abesames, who's celebrating very soon. She only looks in her mid-20s. And of course, when you take a look at what we've had here so far, the going to the next frame, it's crucial for Navy to have a good start.
No, exactly. Really, pressure is on their side right now. Talking about Navy, they can't afford a slow start because no, ito yung nangyari sa second set na to as Liok intentionally went for the hands there.
No block touch. Yeah.
The challenge
You
is
see
not
the
successful.
intention,
There's
but,
no block touch. Navy gets a second
Blocker
set.
was smarter than
25
Liok on that
to 20.
one.
And with that, we go to our third frame and what the Navigators hope will be the last. It is a 2-0 lead here for the Navigators Iloilo after taking the frame here against the PGJC Navy Sea Lions, who have yet to draw blood. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
Ang goal ko sa volleyball is may fellow kababayan, Rangon Abdilla. This is from Tawi-Tawi. Dahil madami siyang na-inspire na kabataan sa amin. Isa na ako doon. Nakapagtapos ako dito sa Metro Manila. Nag-grab ako ng maraming opportunities. Kaya laking tulong niya din kasi na-inspire niya yung mga ibang bata, lalo na mga ngayong generation, na unti-unti din pumupunta sa Manila.
Also an inspiring story there, finding out who the GOATs are of our own players. And of course, I'm sure whenever Rash is around any of his idols, I'm sure he makes GOAT sounds. You know. So no highlights here from the last frame, but we can tell you that it was always going to be a tough one for the PGJC Navy to overcome, considering the strong net defense showcased by this D Navigator side early on.
And because of that good floor defense, net defense, they had more opportunities to, convert points to keep the rally alive, as they were able to perform better in all skill sets against PGJC Navy. So pressure really is on here for Navy to, level up their game against the Navigators.
Well, they took the first point just a while ago, and so far Navy have a bit more pep in their step, and why not? De La Vega will score, but it was actually a net violation.
So right now you see Navy enjoying every point, better body language here, playing loose, because that second set was really tough for them mentally.
I cannot emphasize just how important body language is, especially in volleyball in particular. As Camposano tries to end the run, but instead goes wide.
Camposano trying to go down the line. Fortunately, too wide for him. We mentioned earlier, strong start is very important for Navy, and right now they're able to do that. Unfortunately, Pudadera there, giving away a free point.
And that means we're now at 3-1 in favor of the Philippine Navy. We'll get the score back here up for you in just a bit. But till then, rely on the silky smooth voice of Ayel to tell you the scores in just a bit. 3-1 in favor of the PGJC Navy. Pudadera with the setup to De La Vega, and that time we're seeing a completely different Navy side now with a 4-1 lead.
Now you see them being more aggressive in offense. No soft touches, all power so far for Navy, as De La Vega gets the point of the hands of De Pedro.
Well, after a rapidly close first game, and that's a service ace, Adao unable to lift that high enough. 5-1. And we haven't even played for around 2 minutes, give or take.
Navy serving strong here. Really trying to challenge the first ball of the Navigators.
If you're Coach George, you're wondering, where was this team in that second frame? Here's De Pedro scoring off the blockers.
Take a look at this replay. De Pedro with 2 blockers there. He had Kiel and De La Vega, but he had the right angle to get the point off their hands.
Here's Pudadera with the setup. And that time just pushed into the body of Estomata.
Smart move there for De La Vega. Estomata was right on that angle, but the soft touch worked, playing with the timing of Estomata.
And this is a furious rally here from the PGJC Navy. We are now at 3 minutes played. It's already 6-2. And barely kept up, but there you have it. Here's Estomata with a swing, and a single block from De La Vega is enough.
I mean, one-on-one there. Estomata had a big open space for a cross-court attack, but chose to go down the line, and De La Vega definitely ready for that one.
Navy trying to send us our first technical timeout here, but Estomata couldn't score then. Coverage is there. De Pedro keeps it alive. Who did they look for? Back row, Camposano.
Into the block, Camposano.
The Navigators looking composed in that rally. De Pedro was blocked a couple of times. Good coverage and good court sense there for the Andante to set up Camposano, who was ready in the back row.
Here's Sumagaysay on the service line here. 7-3, the count here, still in favor of the PGJC Navy. Pudadera with the setup. Blocking, sends it the other way. And it'll be a chance ball to play with. Oh, but no one picked it up. A lack of communication and frustration for D Navigators. All PGJC Navy here in set number 3. Technical timeout. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
3, the Navigators.
You're still watching the Spikers Turf 2024. JV Sumagaysay talked about how he needs to adjust his defense. As Peter Kiel has been player of the game 2 times in a row, he admitted he focused too much on Delor and De La Vega, that he missed out on the efficiency of Kiel. Sabi nga niya, kulang pa talaga ako sa net defense. So here he is, trying to make sure he is of good help. He is also happy everyone is contributing, compensating for Saura's absence on one end and not wanting to lose to Navy in 4 matches on the other, but they gotta catch up in this set, Pawayel.
Thank you so much for that, Mika. And of course, there's a lot of pride there, and of course, a lot of player scouting. So my guys side doing a great job identifying what they need to adjust in. And so far, so good with a 2-0 lead in terms of sets. But here in set number 3, a bit different of story. Isang daang taon laban para sa bayan. Let's celebrate and cheer for our Filipino athletes as they represent our country in the Olympic Games Paris 2024. Again, completely different here in set number 3 as the PGJC Navy Sea Lions just really ran out of the gates on fire.
Right. I mean, coming alive here in the set is very important for them because the Navigators looking to get a sweep here, but definitely PGJC Navy will not give up here.
You're absolutely right on that. It just feels like the Navigators have lost that connection we saw in that set number 2. Another miscue here. Almost spelled doom and gloom. Timeoutless as in.
Saka magsalita. Go tayo, ha? Huwag mo silang tingnan. Lahat ng bolang nandyan sa likod, kunin mo, kumukuha mo. Huwag mo memorize yung pesto mo. Go!
Hey, Nabi!
Oh, 6 lang yan. 6 lang yan, isa-isayin nyo.
Well, you know, you listen into that huddle, and of course communications on the keys that they talked about, and you know, we pointed that out just a point ago.
And you know, this is a good challenge for the Navigators. I mean, PGJC Navy, this is their game. This is how they play. What we're seeing right now, they were very uncharacteristic on that second set. So right now, the challenge is on the side of the Navigators. They need good adjustments here. They need quick side outs.
Escamata is starting to show off here in set number 3. A bit silent here to start out, but then this is a great reintroduction.
Challenging the block there of Pudadera, the smaller blocker in that sequence for the Sea Lions.
Pudadera with the setup. Oh, and that was a sweet hit coming from De La Vega.
Pudadera deceiving the blockers and the floor defense on that set, delaying that one, going to De La Vega from the back row. No blockers, no floor defense found there for the Navigators. The offense has been on the roll for PGJC Navy.
Wilbert Sapida with the serve. As it is a 6-point lead. Make that 7. After that shot was overcooked.
Really good start here for Navy, a very strong one. I mean, the Navigators has been challenged and they haven't found a way here to slow down the offense of the Sea Lions.
All of a sudden, the net defense that we were talking about in set number 2 has disappeared. Again, just taking a look at the block count here for the D Navigators in set number 2, they had 4-0. And at the moment, really nothing working out here for D Navigators except for that service error.
A lucky break for them, a chance here to gain momentum. Talking about the Navigators, they don't want a bigger lead. They want to inch closer here.
Rashnur Siddiq on the service line here. Pudadera. Great blocking. And there's that defense we're looking for.
We mentioned earlier 4 kill blocks for the Navigators. And the second set, this is their first kill block in this set. They need more of that if they want to slow down the good offense and the great playmaking of the PGJC right now.
Tignan natin kung mabubuhay ang depensa ng D Navigators after that. And again, they're just not reading the balls just quite right here in this set.
Take a look at this replay. An overpass there, but a misjudgment on the side of the Indante, and he knew it. Gave away a free point off that error.
6-point lead in favor of PGJC. Make that 7. It is a service ace. And this is night and day compared to set number 2.
Great serving so far for Podadera, challenging the first ball of the Navigators, and adjustments
18,
here.
Sabando in.
Sabando checking in for the first time as Camposano will take a quick breather.
Service to the Dera.
And the running attack is good. So simple for Sumagaysay.
Right
And that's because they were able to deliver a good first ball to Daindante. They were able to set up the middle. Great production here. Great response.
Game captain. Serving to the Navigators.
Here's Daindante. And that time sends it long and
Balls to the
wide.
right.
Now, if the PGJC Navy looked lost in the second set right now, the Navigators really a shift of body language here. You see them kind of doubt their decisions, their movements.
Omar Liok.
And right here, ready to send us to our second technical timeout with a point. PGJC Navy. De Pedro pushed that across. Still alive here. That time hit the antenna. So the point will go the way of the Navigators.
Lucky break again. Free point for the Navigators of the attack error of Dolor.
Yeah, at this point, every single point closer before the technical timeout will help the Navigators, at least from a mental standpoint,
That's right.
morale standpoint as well. But that time, Peter Kiel says, all right, you're not even get the double digits before we get to the second technical timeout. 16-9 the count here. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
PGJC Navy 9. The Navigators.
The postseason of the association is finally here. Watch the 2024 NBA playoffs only on NBA TV Philippines. One Sports and Pilipinas Live. Hashtag everything counts. Hashtag NBA on a signal. That's right. So all of the NBA fans out there, thank you very much for joining us here for the best of men's volleyball. Even if you are a Lakers fan and probably not interested anymore. But here we have the Navigators trying to come back into that one, but it looks like it was overcooked. Yes, it was. So, still all Navy here. And struggling to find out here. Or there's going to be a challenge here for block touch. So, let's see whether or not they have a point. But yeah, it doesn't take away from the fact that the Navigators have started out this frame as slow as they could. And it has been so different compared to that second.
And, you know, there's a shift to how both teams are playing. The Navigators playing slower than they did on the second set, but that's also because PGJC Navy, you know, has found their flow here. They are on the roll right now. They are able to execute smooth plays. Coach George Pasco has been asking more, you know, aggressiveness in offense, and they are able to execute that one as clearly a block touch there on Sapida against that hit of De Pedro. So successful challenge for the Navigators. This can have, you know, changes here for the Navigators.
6-point lead still to try and dig themselves out of. Sumagaysay is on the service line here. 7 points, 5 attacks, and 2 blocks from JP. Here's Podadera with the setup, and that time Estomata sends it the other way. And that time the coverage is not good enough.
All right, now you see PGJC Navy challenging the net defense of the Navigators. They're not even trying to avoid it. This one, the lure straight to the hands of Norsidic, trying to power through, and he was successful on that sequence.
Oh, we just saw Rash Norsidic, at least right in front of us, trying to hype up his teammates to get their heads up. And that was a stinging serve there. Estomata setting up De Pedro, and that time the blockers. Sapida, I believe, will be credited with a point.
Everything going well for PGJC Navy right now, from offense to defense. This time, De Pedro silenced by Sapida and Dolor.
Timeout here. Let's listen in.
Ibabaw ka naman eh. Kasi pag gabili mo, talagang babalik ang bola. Receive lang. Kapitan nyo yan. Malayo pa yan, guys. Malayo pa yan. Isa-isahin nyo, isa-isahin.
Uy, nawawala yung sigla natin. Intensity
Sigla, wala.
Kaya natin. Go, go. Okay, ready kayo na.
Well, they're also looking for intensity from themselves. And let's see whether or not they can find it here today. In this set in particular, 8-point lead. PGJC Navy is sitting pretty.
Good question here for the Sea Lions, an 8-point lead.
8 points up for the Sea Lions here in set number 3.
Joven De La Vega with 17 points in the last game. And the service line here trying to put the cherry on top in this frame. And what a serve coming from De La Vega.
Challenging the better receiver of the Navigators, and Adao. He has been stable all throughout, but that serve of De La Vega just too much.
De La Vega.
Here's De La Vega again. And that is back-to-back aces. He has a cannon for an arm.
20.
De La Vega on fire from the service line. You know, just perfect execution of a jump serve there. 2 service aces consecutively for De La Vega.
De La Vega.
And he doesn't want anyone else to play. 2 aces already, back-to-back. Take a look at his numbers there. De La Vega again, that time getting a bit of help from the tape, kept alive, barely. And D Navigators thankful for the tape.
Right.
But first attack chance here coming the other way. Estomata doing a great job with the block there. And there it is, De Pedro ending that one.
Great hustle from the Navigators and the floor defense. And De Pedro challenging this time the blockers, powering through.
For the Navigators.
Well, let's see how far they can come back here. And that time, the coverage is still not there as well. Again, that was something that was so on point in set number 2. All of a sudden, every defensive aspect that we were praising them for, biglang nawala for the D Navigators.
You know, that's also because PGJC Navy has elevated their offense here. From the approach pa lang, kitang-kita mo na they want to be aggressive. They want to put power, and it has been working for them, talking about the Sea Lions.
Estomata. Where was that? In the earlier parts of this frame.
21.
Estomata has been the bright spot all throughout this game for the Navigators. I mean, we've seen Nata and Dante and Camposana stepping up, but at this point they have slowed down. But Estomata really has been consistent here for the Navigators.
Sabando able to keep that alive. Sabando with the swing and the point. Back-to-back points there for D Navigators. And all of a sudden you're seeing a bit more smiles here coming from D Navigators.
Well, that's because they're able to challenge the Sea Lions here at Sabando there, using the hands of Sapida to get that point.
Estomata. Pudadera with the setup, and that was a great hit off the block, and that ends the mini rally here from D Navi.
Now De La Vega from the back row, straight to the hands of Norsidic. I mean, blocking formation-wise, it was good for the Navigators, but they needed to press their hands in.
For the Sea Lions.
22-13 in favor of PGJC Navy. Here's Sabando. And overcooked.
Sabando going long on that one. Unfortunately, too wide. This is a big lead for Navy.
And on the cusp of getting their first frame here, crucially.
Right.
And they're going to be hoping that they'll carry this on all the way to a potential 5th frame. Here's Sabando.
The block, Sabando, 14.
And he's starting to heat up here himself.
Some sparks here from the Navigators as Tamata and Sabando has been that player for them, taking advantage of that loose block there, talking about Sabando.
You know, Sumpesa and Camposano have seen spot minutes here in set number 3. Probably waiting for a hopeful explosion from them in set number 4. At least for a D Navigators fan. And that time scoring off the block. Liok enjoying it.
Liok puts them at set point here as he went for the block of Apolinario.
Budadera for the set. Sabando. And that will be a 2-touch here. Violation on PGJC Navy.
Now that was also a good set coming from Apolinario. Going to Sabando there. Late na yung blocker, so there's so much space on the cross-court attack, and that's where Sabando hit that ball.
Serving for the Navigators.
Budadera for the frame. And they take that home with a plum. 25-15, 10-point win here for PGJC Navy. Let's take a look at that again.
Easy outing there for De La Vega. Only one blocker, down the line close. A very much open cross-court attack there. Clean hit from De La Vega.
Well, Navy has the momentum. Let's see how far they can ride this wave. 2-1, still in favor of the Navigators Iloilo. But let's see what PGJC Navy can conjure in set number 4. We'll be right back.
Bagong-bago. Sabayan ang iyong yapak sa pagdinig at pag-iyak. Jopay, huwag ka nang mawala ngayon.
Again, our favorite volleyball athletes reminding us that they really should just stick to volleyball sometimes. But all joking aside, John De La Vega, thank you very much for being so game for that. Highlights here in set number 3, and a lot of them came from De La Vega.
De La Vega already with 19 points. Now carrying the bigger load of scoring for PGJC Navy. We saw him explode in that third set. He was a crucial point there, delivering consecutive points. The aces were crucial as well. A lot of impact plays coming from him, but you know, just overall better performance for PGJC Navy. They were able to respond well well after losing that first and second set. So right now, necessary adjustments needed for the Navigators. As we take a look at the numbers, more attack points for Navy, 13 for them against the 10 of the Navigators. Better blocking, better service game as well for PGJC Navy compared to the Navigators. The Navigators only able to tally 1 block compared to their 4 blocks in the second set. That's a department that they thrived in the first 2 sets that worked for them, and they need to bring it back here in the 4th set if they want to get this set and get a chance for the bronze.
And the other thing that we have to discuss here, just how quick that last set was.
Right.
PGJC Navy just went on and on and on. And the point there will go to the PGJC Navy to start out here.
Center line fault there called on Camposano. Was not able to control his momentum there.
Again, Navy looking for a start similar to the last set. Budadera with the serve. Here's Dante with the setup. Camposano just push that across. Free ball to play with here. D Navigators looking to strike back. They do, courtesy of Sumagaysay.
We haven't heard from Sumagaysay. And the 3rd set, he can be crucial. He can be key here. The activation of the middles could be a good support to the production of the wings.
Yeah, Kalingking unable to get to that.
Team Day and Dante serving for the Navigators.
So D-Nav looking for a bit of the lead here. De La Vega tries to go down the line, but goes wide.
2, serving 1.
I mean, De La Vega with his elevation and his height, he had all angles checked in, just too wide for him and that down the line attack.
Service, Day and Dante.
Here's Dayan Dante. And a service ace straight away, and all of a sudden, the D Navigators, who looked really not like themselves in the last frame, have found themselves again.
Right. This is important for them. Again, no blocking, service worked for them. In the second set, they need to bring it back here. They need to challenge the good passing of PGJC Navy.
Dayan Dante almost with another ace. De La Vega, free ball to play with here. De Pedro. Here's De La Vega. And Sumagaysay enjoying that.
4-1.
De Pedro and Sumagaysay closing down De La Vega. Take a look at De Pedro adjusting that arms, closing the cross-court angle.
It was De Pedro who will be credited with the point.
Ngayon, De Pedro, all throughout this game, despite the good plays coming from De La Vega, he has done a good job really slowing down the offense of De La Vega.
And that time, the push forward. Now we're seeing something a bit similar to what we saw in frame number 1, wherein neither team really could go out to the lead.
Good exchanges here so far. Skiel being activated there from the middle. Power tip works for him.
D-Nav. Good blocking there by Kiel. It slowed that down. Here's Dolor. Overcooked. But then the touch was there.
High hands there for Dolor. No risk action. Really going for the hands of Sumagaysay on that one.
So all of a sudden, just 1 point game here.
PGJC Navy continues to look locked in here.
You know, we are now at the 3:30 mark of this frame. A while ago in the previous set, we were almost at the first technical timeout because Navy were just so dominant, and here we are knotted up at 4 apiece.
And the Navigators working hard to keep the small lead as Estomata being activated from the back row there. Dayan Dante, they need Dayan Dante on the floor, on the court, as well as Camposano, because they have been crucial in that two sets win.
D-Nav up by 2. Dayan Dante with the setup again. Estomata!
Down the line.
Where has he been? He did not play in the last game, and he is shining here.
You know, he had, limited minutes for the Navigators, but in the most important game, the most crucial moments, he has been stepping up again. No Francis Saura on the lineup on the court right now for the Navigators, but Camposano there letting go of that serve, giving away a free point.
Too hot with the delivery. As it is a 2-point lead for the D Navigators. PGJC Navy will gladly take that one. And the push ahead, and the coverage is good enough. Barely keeping that alive. And their effort allowed them to get and steal that point. De Pedro, just too much mustard.
Some bodies on the floor there. You see them hustle for every point here, and they got a good break there as De Pedro. A lack of risk action on that hit.
Service. Yeah.
Diane Dante and Estomata got 3 bodies on the floor and found the space in between all of them.
And that is the same spot that they were able to maximize in that second set. That soft touch right in zone 2, right on the middle. Right now, Estomata, a great court sense there, presence of mind to go for that zone again.
JV Sumagaysay on the service line here. 2-point lead still here for D Navi. Dolor, the swing and the block. The triple block, just too much.
Blocking coming alive here for the Navigators.
And we are at our first technical timeout. 3-point lead for D Navi. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
May we request the owner of the air horn to please avoid using it. Bawal po ang paggamit ng air horn. Pakiusap lang po. Salamat.
We are still here at the Rizal Memorial Coliseum for your Spikers Turf 2024. It's happening all over again. DNAV not being able to close out after the second set. It's like mirroring all of the other matches, but they need to carry on. Sabi nga ni Sir Mike Sabichana, we really need to work on composure. Pag nagsimula yung errors namin, nagkaka-domino effect. The passing of Navy is working for them. They have been creative. And so the Iloilo boys need to be extra alert if they want a chance at the bronze. They gotta end the crucial minutes boys title of Navy. Pao Ayel.
Crucial minutes boy title, and of course that is something that shaking off could determine whether or not you go with the bronze or nothing at all.
Right. Every point again will matter here for the Navigators,
and they will gladly welcome that one back. And it's just a 3-point ball game here. Navy, after a red hot set number 3, winning that by 10 points, taking on a D Navigator side who has started a lot better here, but it's a more even contest than what we've seen in sets 2 and 3. Sapida getting the point, and you feel that this could potentially become a battle of attrition between these two.
I mean, great rallies, great exchanges. Defense for the Navigators, but offense for the PGJC Navy.
7-9 in favor of the Navy. It's 7 serving 9. Then Dante. And Estomata again having such a big impact in this game.
No, I really agree. No, the all-around game of Estomata has been really the bright spot here, the spark for the Navigators. I mean, even though they lost that third set, it has been Estomata delivering the points as he gets another service ace right on the corner bucket of a PGJC Navy. Take a look at this replay.
And there it is, right at the corner. And with that, cue the timeout. Let's listen in.
Bakit tayo yung i-try na subukan yung sinasabi sa inyo na magsalita kayo? Yun lang ang key. Para alam natin kung sinong kukuha ng bola, kung sino yung mag-i-initiate, humingi kayo ng bola. Wala eh. Pwede ba tayong gagalaw na hindi tayo nagsasalita? Pwede ba tayong maglaro na hindi tayo nagsasalita sa loob ng court? Nagawa nyo naman ang kanina, nanalo kayo, nagsalita kayo, di ba? Bakit nyo kailangan pipigilan? Ba't hindi nyo gawin?
As with so many things in life, Ayel, communication is key.
That's right. And I mean, for PGJC Navy, this is crunch time for them. They want to end this conference with a win and with a medal. So they need to really improve their communication so quickly.
Oh, and what a save going out into the crowd. And almost winning a point from it. Here's Liok, Dayandante, Camposano. Can we credit the save going into the crowd and also to our members of the audience who got out of the way?
Exactly. No giving way for Dayandante to save that ball, and Camposano just delivering the point. Working hard for that one because Dayandante did his best to save that rally.
Wala kasing ad board sa side natin eh. So they were able to run out into the crowd.
Right.
Dayandante, the push. He'll try again with the setup. Estomata stopped by the back row. And that's a back row attack. No good. We have a good rally here so far. Estomata again, and that time it will be a net touch against the PGJC Navy.
Momentum has been on the side of the Navigators. Everything going well for them, and even it was still a point for the Navigators. Estomata getting that off the hands of Sapida, but an error, also net touch error on the side of a PGJC Navy.
Estomata. And that no one could get to. That went into the second row, or the second tier here. Dito sa Rizal Memorial Coliseum. Let's take a look at that again. This was a heavy hit.
Too fast, too strong there from De La Vega. De Pedro could not contain that one. They need more of that. They need more of their firepower. Talking about PGJC Navy.
Here's Sapida. Dante. And that time it was Peter Giel who gets to that first. And you can see the body language changing here for the Navy.
Now also, that was a low set there coming from the Dante to Norcy Dick. They did not connect on that one. And Kiel, knowing him, he will take advantage of that. He is a threat not just in offense, but most especially in net defense.
And what a reply here coming from the Navigators. That is Arash Nursidik.
Making up for the error earlier. He did apologize, and great way for Dayandante to set him up again and give him a chance to make up for that error.
14-9 in favor of the Navigators. They are going at this with a chance to really run away.
Right.
Here's Liok. 3 blockers in front and did not get the target on.
Liok too wide on that one. No telling Coach George not to challenge anymore. That was clearly an outside hit. I mean, again, in all their meetings talking about the Navigators and PGJC Navy, it has been PGJC Navy succeeding despite the extended matches. They have been winning, but the Navigators here looking for a comeback against PGJC Navy as Camposano hammers that one in, powers through the blockers.
And 16-9 in favor of the Navigators. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Following
Welcome back to Rizal Memorial Coliseum here, where the crowd is starting to grow, especially in anticipation for our finals matchup here today. As we take a look at that last play, Camposano, take a look at the emotion that he shows here, especially with that point. The Navi so close to getting a crucial victory against this PGJC Navy side. Again, the Navy lead the series 1-0, and with the fact that it can no longer be a sweep here for the D Navigators, they're just hoping to win this one and then hoping that Crisscross can extend the series further so they have a shot at a do or die in the battle for third. Let's take a look at that last point coming from the Navy. Philippine Navy here with Luis Pudadera on the service line. 6-point lead to try and get over, as Camposano could not score off the block, and the blocking just holds strong here for the Navy.
Pressure moments here for them. A 5-point lead might not be safe, but that's a good cushion here for the Navigators.
Pudadera trying to string together some points here from the Navy. Dayan Dante able to chase that. Camposano
with a well-placed
just
shot.
had a stinging hit ready.
11.
The floor defense really of Navy has been struggling given the variety of attacks coming from the Navigators, as Camposano with an open block there.
For Iloilo.
Here's Dayan Dante. And the wind-up, the blocking works out there. De La Vega, the swing, and the blocking just took it away from Ricadao.
Miscue there also. I mean, that ball was high enough for a coverage from the Navigators. That was a good rebound, a good touch, but the miscue there between Adao and Camposano.
Just a 5-point lead here. It's starting to shrink. Dayan Dante. Camposano! Oh, he has come out with so much in his locker.
Camposano again has had to step up given the absence of Francis Sara, but it's not just him. I mean, Estomata has been almost flawless here for the Navigators.
Sumagaysay able to save that one. Dayan Dante setting up Estomata, who scores off the block. Well, you mentioned his name and he said, let me add on a highlight.
And you know, Dayan Dante just putting all trust here to Estomata, who we haven't seen a lot in the previous games.
Timeout call on the floor. Let's snit.
Kung gusto nyo manalo, kapitan ninyo, nawawala yung depensa natin sa likod. Paano ang depensa ninyo? Atras, lahat ng weight ninyo nasa likod. Paano kayo makakamove forward? Paano kayo makakagalaw? Wala na sa basic position eh. Huwag nyo ilagan yung bola, hanapin yung bola para makadepensa. Ang ginagawa lang ng kalaban, inaangat lang nila yung bola kahit anong paraan, basta tumaas yung bola. Sa atin, pinababayaan natin bumagsak. Huwag nyo yung asa, yung mabablock ng kasama ninyo, depensahin nyo sa likod. Kaya nga kayo nandiyan eh, para tumulong sa depensa.
Well, defense, obviously the key there, especially at the back.
And they need to read the offense of the Navigators, and they need to react quickly. That's what they need. They need to guard their zones here, because the Navigators really looking to dominate this set.
Here's Camposano, 14 points, 12 attacks, and 2 blocks, and it feels like a lot of those points have come here in this frame in particular. But, syempre, as we are talking about how good he's been, he gives us a service error.
And that gives PGJC Navy here a chance to get a run in.
And they need to go on a little run, maybe a bit of a jog, a sprint, because they need to come back into this one.
For the Sea Lions.
Dayan Dante, the setup. Estomata blocked there. Adao with the coverage. They go to De Pedro. Great stop there. Sapida sends it the other way. Buhay pa rin dito ang bola. It's a long rally, and that time it's ended by Estomata.
Estomata has been unstoppable here for the Navigators. Take a look at this replay. Dayan Dante again keep saying this, putting all his trust to Estomata, feeding him the balls, allowing him to deliver the points.
JV Sumagaysay on the service line here, as DNAV are looking to stay alive in their hopes of a bronze medal. The swing and the get in favor of Navy.
Some sparks here for the Sea Lions, but again, they need to make a run here. The Navigators just 5 points away in winning this match.
Coach George went into the ball with the aggressiveness that he wants his players to go at it. And kept alive here by Diandante. De Pedro, soft touch here. And that time, just a bit too long, and they're going to challenge this anyway.
Well, they need every help to get the point here, and this challenge could be that help.
And that'll be a block touch challenge. That's what they're going to do.
Challenge number 2. Block
Crucial point here for Navy. We talked about how important it is for the Navigators to start strong in this set if they want to take this match, and they are able to execute that. They have been controlling the set.
Take a look at this here. And no block touch. In fact, it's a bit far. So it just feels like it's another tactical challenge here from Coach George, because there's no chance. It's more of stopping any sort of momentum.
Chance here for Navy also to refocus. Again, composure really has been a problem as well on their side.
Here's to Pedro. And that time, De La Vega keeping the PGJC Navy afloat.
Right. From the back row this time, powering through the loose block of Estomata and Norsidic.
Couple of changes here coming. Villanueva and Jairami checking in here for PGJC Navy.
Coach George Pasco wants a complete front row here. Wants 3 offensive options on the front row.
So Greg Delor just making sure the rotations are right. That could be the most frustrating error.
Right.
If they didn't check that.
They can't afford any errors right now. It's going to be costly for them.
And a meeting at the net. The joust won by Leo.
Double touch.
So sparks, bright spots coming from PGJC Navy.
5 out. 3. Engay.
Navigators has to be careful at this point. This is a 5-point lead, but it's not safe. We've seen PGJC Navy get some runs going here.
And we've covered enough games here in Spiker Surf to know that no lead is safe at all.
That's right.
We've seen a lead disappear from 24 to 16. Then nanalo pa yung nasa 16. And that time, overcooked that Estomata. The point will go to Navy.
17 to 21.
And cue the timeout.
Talk things over.
Let's listen in.
Tayo natin. May patay ha. Pasahan nyo muna.
Huwag nagmamadali. Kapitan nyo lang yan, kapitan natin. Isa. Patamain mo sa kamay. Tapang lang, pre.
Go. Reset tayo, reset. Let's go. Nabi!
Sa pauli.
Well, one of the key things mentioned a while ago, just really don't rush. As you see Sir Ricky Palu enjoying the proceedings here. Of course, excited to see what will happen, especially in the finals later on. Of course, dito rin sa battle for third.
Just 4
A
points.
good time out there for the Navigators. They need a breather here. They were reminded that they don't need to rush. They need to play their own pace of the game, because it has worked all throughout the set. They just need 4 points to get this match.
Apolinario. Oh, and that was well worth it from Engay, who just came in the point to go.
Again, this double sub Apolinario and Enga has been productive here for the Navigators. A combination play there, deceiving the blockers. The net defense of Navy. Open block, easy outing for Engay.
And that time, the soft touch works out there for Villanueva.
18.
As all of a sudden, it's just a 4-point lead here. Very precarious.
Right. In a much needed point there for PGJC Navy. Well, they have really good sparks here. They're playing it carefully. We haven't seen a lot of errors on their end in this end stretch of the set.
Alicando will check in just for the serve. It's always a hard job being a service specialist, especially at a high-pressure game like this. Safe serve, dealt well with. And just didn't have the right connection there between Apolinario and Engay. They'll try again. And that time a single block. Villanueva keeping the Navy afloat.
Villanueva can be a game changer here for the Sea Lions. A one-man block against Camposano. Silence there by Villanueva.
Alicando still here on the service line. And that will be saved by Leon, or will it not? And they are obviously debating this.
Ball is out. Point and serve.
And they're going to talk to the captain here, Greg Delor.
Hindi, kasi ang dumaan ng bola dito sa loob. So hindi naman ma-recover yun. Taas eh. Arto, aliga. Kasi nandun sa malapit siya. So doon sa mag-ano niya. Ang bola saan... Hindi, ang bola saan dumaan? Sa loob, sa labas? Sa loob, dito sa loob. Oh, sa loob dumaan eh. So, kung sa loob dumaan, pag tama ng bola, wala na, outside na. Matik yun. Yun ang ano mo.
Well, there's explanation of that point. So it's because it went inside the antenna. They're unable to take that. So the point will go here to...
Hindi, kahit nasa taas, basta yung bola sa loob dumaan at dire-recover mo, wala na yun.
Hindi, yung interference ka ng ginawa eh.
Hindi, kayo matatawagan ng interference doon. Kasi ang bola wala na, hindi na pwede recover. Kung sa labas ng galing, pwede recover yun. Sa loob ng galing, sa loob.
Coach George still debating his side's claim. And there, I believe, no challenge as well here for the PGJC Navy. And still talking about this point here with regards to where the flight of the ball was with regards to the antenna.
Because they were still trying to save that one. But right now they're saying that there was an interference from Navigators. That's what they're complaining right now.
So the point will go to D-Navi anyway. Score still 23-19. And D-Navi just 2 points away here from keeping their hopes alive. And of course, just so everyone knows, D-Navi will now, at the very least, cheer for Crisscross in the next matchup. Yeah, for a potential game 3. And Leo gets the point back, a point that they sorely needed. Just a 3-point lead here. You never know where this could go.
They're slowly trying to close the lead and catch up with the Navigators. They're somehow doing it smoothly here. But
De La Vega checks back in, by the way. That's probably your number one offensive option if you're PGJC Navy.
Exactly, and you have Kiel as well in the front row, another offensive option.
Here's Apolinario with the setup. Great defensive sequence here for PGJC Navy. Apolinario, the setup again. And kept alive here. Camposano!
Cross-court shot.
Clean angle for Camposano.
And Camposano, just like that, puts the Navigators just a point away from claiming the match.
What a way for this team to step up in game 2 again without their leading scorer, without their leader in terms of scoring. Talking about Francis Saura.
And this is a team with a history of losing to the Navigators. They are here to change that narrative. Here for the match. De La Vega, he's not done yet.
You mentioned it earlier, De La Vega is going to be key at this point. 3 blockers there, not good enough against De La Vega. Way up there, getting the point.
And the pressure now on Omar Liok, who has to keep his service game on point. And Kiel with the single block, that works out. And that time getting that again. Dolor and Kiel, the combination works.
22-24.
Well read there. Talking about the offense of the Navigators. Kiel and Dolor teaming up to close down Camposano. He has been checked a couple of times already.
Sige lang. Jake, sa akin. Okay lang. Babawin natin, ha? Sorry. Tama lang yan. Sige.
Okay, last point, tapos na. Tapos na tayo. Okay, last point.
Okay.
Hey, Navi!
Well, they needed to calm down. And exactly what that was for. Of course, a bit of apologies as well for that last play.
Again, for the Navigators, they just need 1 point. That's all they need to get this match and to have an opportunity to still finish in bronze. They need a good first ball. They need to convert. Meanwhile, PGJC Navy looking to challenge that. But again, as you mentioned, Liok has to play flawlessly on that service line.
Well, it all starts with Omar Liok here, trying to keep the Navy in this game. Match point for the Navigators. Omar Liok on the service line for Navy. Tayandante with the setup. De Pedro blocks.
Well read by De La Vega.
24-23.
We mentioned it earlier, bit by bit. PGJC Navy coming alive here as De Pedro closed down by De La Vega on that one. Pressure now is actually on the side of the Navigators. Liok serving well so far. Pressure moments here.
To extend the frame, Omar Liok with the serve. Dayandante goes to Camposano, and Camposano puts a ribbon on it.
Ends the set and the match.
Camposano has been that leader without Francis Saura delivering the points in the crucial moments. Clutch plays coming from him, getting blocked a couple of sequences, but coming alive just right on time to deliver the most important point for the Navigators.
And just like that, they are still in contention for a bronze medal finish. Don't go away. We have a lot to talk about. We'll be right back.
25.
Rizal Memorial Coliseum for your Spikers Turf 2024. And right now, I'm with the best player of this match na si Arvin Estomata na nagpakitang gilas talaga mula nung first set. Arvin, finally, no, naging composed kayo nung dulo. Nakakuha kayo ng panalo sa Navy after 4 matches with them. Ano sa tingin mo yung naging turning point sa match na to?
Ang nagtulungan lang po kami tsaka all out na lang po kasi parang naging motivation namin yung tatlong talo namin na dapat manalo kami ngayong game po.
Ang saya-saya ni Boss Mike, nakita ko siya kanina, no, tama ka sa sinabi mo, nagtulungan talaga kayo, collective effort, actually halos lahat kayo gumawa. Anong gusto mo sabihin kay Sir Mike, kay Coach Boy at saka sa teammates mo?
Thank you sa kay Sir Mike tsaka kay Coach Boy tsaka sa mga teammate ko po na tiwala po sa akin, yun po.
Bukod sa kanila, meron ka pa ba mga gustong batiin?
Hello po sa mga taga-Antigi po, lalong-lalo na po sa taga-Pandan tsaka sa mga taga-Santo Rosario Pandan. Tingnan po.
Maraming salamat, Arvin Estomata. Balik sa inyo, Pawayel.
That's short and sweet there. Congratulations, Arvin. And advance happy birthday to Mika Basanes. Again, cannot not forget that. Set number 4 highlights here. Ayel, what happened?
The Navigators started strong. They had the lead all throughout the set. Collective effort really came in. A key factor there for the Navigators. PGJC Navy tried. They almost closed the gap towards the end stretch. But, Camposano coming alive. But, we have to credit Estomata. Again, we haven't seen him in the previous game. Came alive here. Played consistently, efficiently for the Navigators. 20 points for him off 17 attacks, 1 block and 2 service aces. An all-around game for Estomata there. So take a look at the final numbers there in the fourth set. 14 attack points for the Navigators. Better outing for them compared to the 12 of PGJC Navy. Although the Sea Lions was able to tally more kill blocks with 5. 2 for the Navigators. 2 service aces for the Navigators. Both teams committing big number of errors. But again, the timing of those errors was crucial for PGJC Navy.
The D Navigators with the win now keep themselves in the running for a podium finish, and their fate will now lie in the matchup that is at hand here at the Rizal Memorial Coliseum. That is, of course, the final here between these two dynasties that want to be risen. 2 challengers here trying to fight for the top spot. Both of them have unprecedented firepower in their arsenal. We ask the question, who has more passion? This is where power meets passion. This is the finals of the Spikers Turf Open Conference, and that is up next. Crisscross King Crunchers against Signal HD Spikers. Can Signal take home the championship here today, or will Crisscross extend it to a 3rd decisive game? That's coming up next. Thank you very much for joining us here for our first game. I'm Paulo de Rosario alongside Ian Estranero. Mika Basames, the birthday girl, was our courtside report today, and Jet is my FD. We'll see you for the next ones.